Hi everybody, this is Dan Talks Sense, and today we're doing a review of a fragrance from the house of Zara. It's called Rose Gourmand. Now to my nose, this smells really close to Montale's Intense Cafe. So in today's review, I'm going to do a first impression of the fragrance. I'm then going to spray Rose Gourmand on one arm, Intense Cafe on the other, and I'm going to tell you how they compare with each other, which one smells stronger, which one projects better, and at the end I'm going to make a conclusion on whether I think you should go out and buy the fragrance from Zara. So if that kind of content would interest you, then please stay tuned. So first of all, I just want to say I hope you've all had a really nice Christmas and Boxing Day. It's now the 28th of December, the snow is falling, I can see it through the window, thick snow today in the UK. So what I'm going to do, I think it'd be really nice, is I'm going to spray on my arms and do like a kind of first impressions in the house. Then I'm going to update you, showing you some footage of the snow outside as I walk to the shops. I think that'd be quite nice. If you've been watching my channel since the beginning, back in the summer, I used to do this in the summer and sort of give you some updates on how a fragrance was developing on my skin. So I think it'd be nice to do it with some snow because we don't often get snow in the UK. So to get some's really nice. Everybody in the UK is taking pictures and uploading them on their Facebook and stuff, which is great. Just to give you a little bit of a background to this, back in the summer, when I first started my channel, Barry from the channel Centralise he's a really nice guy. He sent me a decant of Intense Cafe and I smelt it and immediately I fell in love with the fragrance. I felt that I could definitely pick up the coffee, and I know a lot of people can't, they don't think it smells of coffee, but I definitely do. I think it smells of like a milky sort of latte, just really, really nice. And straight away I like the fragrance and it made me want to get a full bottle. In another video that I've done on my channel, and I'll put a link to that, is I did a comparison between Ristretto Intense Cafe and Intense Cafe, and I preferred the original Intense Cafe. I do agree that Ristretto had a stronger coffee note in there, but I still think that the original still had enough coffee in there for me to appreciate it for what it is. So really like the fragrance. Now I was in Zara shopping the other day. There is quite a lot of selection of fragrances. They're always updating their range. I've bought fragrances numerous times from Zara. They do fail on performance. On many occasions I've bought fragrance from there. It's been nice, but they just really failed on performance, and that puts people off using Zara. They have, I believe, teamed up with Jo Malone to do a new range of fragrances, and I was interested to smell some of the fragrances in there because the country exclusive range comes in a brown box like this. They have been getting quite good positive feedback on YouTube, and I've watched a few videos. And there was one that was a clone of Baccarat Rouge, I believe. There was a few others. Now, I was in there the other day. I picked up Rose Gourmand and I sprayed it on. And immediately I knew, I recognised the smell. I thought that is definitely Intense Cafe. So what I'm going to do is first impressions, kind of first impressions, but for me I've already smelt it, so what it is, it's basically seeing what they're like to begin with as you first spray them on and how they compare. There will be a more accurate way of saying that. So if I spray on Rose Gourmand on my left wrist, so 2 sprays on there, and now I've got a decant of Intense Cafe as well. If you want to smell Intense Cafe for the, just to smell what it's like, if you go on Fragcom UK, there's a guy called Imran Ali. He's really good seller. He sells decants of the niche fragrances, really reliable, well packaged, and arrives really quickly. And he's well respected on Fragcom UK. So if you're UK based and you're watching this, then I'll join Fragcom UK. There's another page called Frag Heads as well, which is really good. Join them too. You can get decants. You can smell what a niche fragrance smells like before you go out and spend a substantial amount of money on the fragrance. The most important thing is while you're watching this, and this is how they compare. Okay, so When you spray them on, I think that Intense Cafe is slight stronger coffee note when you spray it on, but there is barely any difference to my nose, okay, when I spray them on. Just a notch stronger in the coffee note with the Intense Cafe. But trust me, when you smell them, like I have now, there is barely any difference, okay? So I'd even say it's probably about 95% similar. Only difference is the Intense Cafe, slightly stronger coffee note. And some people might be saying, well, I can't even detect coffee in Intense Cafe. I can, but they are so similar, okay? And this is why I recognise it straight away. But what I'm going to do, I think an important thing will be to see how they perform, how they project, and I'll update you on how they perform through the day. Before I do that, I'm going to do a close-up on the bottle just to show you the presentation and go through the note breakdown of both fragrances, and then I'm going to update you on how they compare in a diary, and then I will also make a conclusion at the end on what I think of both fragrances. But so far, really close to each other. Okay, so if that kind of stuff would interest you, then please stay tuned. With Rose Gourmand, we have really basic presentation here, just a nice glass bottle, gold atomizer with Rose Gourmand written on the front. Now, according to base notes, Intense Cafe fragrance notes are amber, vanilla, white musk, black coffee and floral notes. With Rose Gourmand, we only have 3 notes listed, and they are rose, dry amber and vanilla. But just to give you an update, I'll try not to slip over the snow as I tell you, but a couple of hours in, and there's only minor differences between the two, both projecting really well. The Zara one is a little touch sweeter, a bit more sugary, but almost identical. There's barely any difference and both projecting really well. Just a touch stronger coffee note coming through from Intense Cafe, but barely noticeable difference to most people that smell it around you. But yeah, similar projection, very similar in sense, so far so good. So if I do a quick conclusion, let's go through a number of criteria. The first one is how close it is to Intense Cafe. I would say about 95% the same. Majority of people would barely notice any difference between the two, okay? In terms of performance, so how long it lasts for, I put this on at 10 o'clock this morning and I can still smell it around myself at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So you're going to get a full day's wearing out of this where people can smell you. How does that performance compare to Intense Cafe? Well, for me, Intense Cafe is one of the best performing fragrances I've ever smelled. It's total brilliant performance. You can put it on in the morning and you can still smell it on your collar the next day. So you'd be hard-fetched to find a fragrance that matches up to that performance. But I find that Montale Intense really superb performance. But this is going to last you the whole day at work. This is sufficient for all you need. So not quite as good as Intense Cafe, but more than enough to last you the whole day. In terms of projection, I think that the real Intense Cafe projects more, a bigger, wider scent bubble. But I think this makes it more office friendly. If people didn't like the smell of Intense Cafe, and you're wearing it, then everybody's going to smile in the office and they're not going to be too happy because it really does project like a beast. With this, I'd say that it's got a really good scent bubble. I was smelling this around myself when I was walking to the shops, and I can smell it now in the house, and it's solid. Whenever I've wore this, I think it's got really good projection and performance. So let's go down to the cost. Rose Gourmand, for 80 mils, I managed to get this for £12.99. You're going to be paying about £80 for a similar sized bottle of the real Intense Cafe. So it's a fraction of the price. if you're near a Zara where you live and you see this left on the shelf, without doubt, if you like Intense Cafe, you like coffee fragrances, pick up Rose Gourmand. You are not going to regret it. I think this would be perfect for the office because it's a slightly toned down version of Intense Cafe, but it smells almost exactly the same. And it's a really, really nice fragrance. And I really enjoyed wearing it. I think it's a really solid release from Zara, and they've done a really, really good clone of Intense Cafe. So without hesitation, if you see this, leftover, £12.99, 80 mils, Rose Gourmand by Zara, grab it. And I don't believe you will regret it. Really good fragrance. Now I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope you found it helpful. If you've used Rose Gourmand or Intense Cafe, let me know in the comments down below. If you haven't subscribed already, I kindly ask that you subscribe by clicking the subscribe button down below. And I hope to speak to you all very soon.